Hi, I'm Brian. We're going to do a CV axle on a BMW X5. This one's got the little V8 in it. It's got the little 4.4 liter. I'm going to be doing the axle on the right hand side, which is the passenger side. You'll need a couple of special tools to do this one. Nothing real crazy serious, but let me show you the CV axle nut. It's a 34 millimeter or 1 7/16 will get you by, and it's a 12 point. Before you take this off, be sure to use a chisel and knock out the sides that correspond in here. You can see now it's got a notch on each side of the axle. It won't come out if you don't do that. You'll also notice that in the front of here, it's got a little bit of a centering hole. You'll need to use that. Basically, BMW, in my opinion, they make the best cars out of the worst steel, which is kind of ironic. But that's my finding. They rust really easily. They use a lot of aluminum, and that's fine and great and good, but the steel that they use tends to rust together really bad. You'll need a 22 millimeter socket to get the bolts undone on the strut. It's very similar to anything else. You don't have to worry about the ABS wire. It comes on a bracket that comes off when you pull these bolts out. You'll need to take the caliper off. There's just two bolts that are on the back side. Let me get some light on here. There's two bolts that go through the steering knuckle, and they're 16 millimeter. Like I say, just odd sizes, odd nuts and stuff. And once you do that, you'll be able to lean the steering knuckle out, and then you'll need to use an impact air chisel, or you can use a chisel manually. But you'll need to put that inside the center of the CV axle, and then just, drive it through. I like the Cornwell one out of all the different ones that I've tried. I think I've tried all of them that there are, but Cornwell seems to do the best job. So put a plug in for them because I like them. So then it'll enable you to get the CV axle out of the steering knuckle, and then to get it the rest of the way out of the car, there's a little window. Most things that you work on this car, you have to pull this big old aluminum belly pan off. But this one you don't. And that's kind of nice. There's a hole here, and the hole is actually for servicing the engine, the motor oil, or is that transmission? I can't tell. These things are just screwy because it's all one and the same together. But basically you get access through this to where you can take your pry bar or take whatever tool you want. And I don't know if you can see the little kiss mark that I made. There's an oil drip, and then you follow down diagonally to the left. There's a little kiss mark from where the pry bar I was using. But you run a pry bar through this hole. Let's see if I can show you. I'm going to be holding three things at once. I'll be holding the pry bar, and the camera, and the light. But basically you just run a pry bar in through there, and then you hit the back of the handle with your hammer. Tap, tap-a-rooski, and out it comes. So that's a quick and easy way to do it. On the other side, if you're doing the right side, where you pry on these, it's got kind of like a collar that you got to pry on. Right, see, it's kind of conical shape. You don't pry here, you actually pry in between right here. And I don't know how well you can see that. See the pry bar, I'll wiggle it so you can see you pry right inside there, and then the left side's just the same. So these really aren't too bad. The crappy thing about them is getting the new axle into that spindle, because the spindle will be full of rust. Like I say, you got to use an air chisel. See, look at all the rust in there. See all the brown color? That's where my penetrating oil didn't get. You want to lubricate that with some transmission fluid and wire brush it, because otherwise when you go to put the new axle in, it's not going to want to go in. It's just going to really fight it. You can't hammer on them, or else it'll pinch the boot and create problems. So just make sure to wire brush that with some penetrating oil or with some transmission fluid. Either one will work good, and you'll have success. It'll be a lot easier on you. So hope this is helpful. Good luck to you. As always, rate, subscribe, and comment. That'll help more people to find the video, help more people. So love you. I tried to get this all in one take, but I forgot something. When you go to pull this out, it's got a really long axle shaft, and this is important. That's why I went back just to do it. You've got a stability sensor that's right here. See that thing with all the arms and legs on it? Right there. You just got to be careful when you go to pull the axle out. You got to pull the axle out to the rear side of the vehicle of where the strut is. this will flex out of the way. So you just flex that out of the way and slide it out. Also, when you go to put the new one in, I really recommend using some grease on that seal just to lube it up so that the new one doesn't go on dry. That'll help ensure a good seal. So that's all, nothing real crazy or wild, but makes all the difference in the world.